Tight five to kick it, ladies and gentlemen. 5 separate sporting topics, roughly a minute or so on each.
The Tight Five.
And when the bell reminds us, we'll ding on to the next topic, an hour away from the Rugby League hour. We can talk about the Wah-Wahs. Are they going to make the top 4 at Lachlan still? Or are you losing faith instead of keeping the faith? Blues-Reds Anzac Day clash. A SANZAR, that's the Super Rugby organisation, is it? Well, this is the one where you call the office and no one's ever there. Between whoever it is that runs this competition, including New Zealand Rugby, is anyone capable of getting that organised, do you think, to make an Anzac Day Super Rugby clash actually happen? Semipeni Fino, like what he's bringing to Super Rugby, is he going to get an All Black jersey this year? Can the Lakers do what has never been done before at Lachlan, and that is recover from a 3-0 deficit to overcome the Denver Nuggets, defending NBA champs, first round?
Don't ask that.
Are the Canes still the best side in Super Rugby? We talked a little bit about that in the last hour. The Black Caps, pick your 15. Pick your 15 to go to the T20 World Cup. And Paul Kent, we'll talk more about this with Kempy as well, but Paul Kent, should he be kept on as a television presenter? NRL 360 have sidelined him again. And if you haven't seen the video footage, it is pretty pathetic, to be honest. Let's start with that, Lachlan. Seems a bit weird, doesn't it, talking about this, talking about somebody in Australia, talking about the fact. But, I mean, this guy's a big presence on our screens. And if you like your rugby league, well, you'll know who he is because you'll probably be watching those shows. He was taken off air for the best part of 9 months when he faced domestic assault allegations. Well, those were all thrown out in court. So he got given his job back, fair enough. But then he's involved in what looks like, can you say it's a drunken kind of fight?
Well, it looks like it's outside a bar and it's late at night. So there's an assumption that alcohol has been consumed.
And there's him and another guy who look about the same age. Obviously, there's been some words exchanged about something. Now, the footage that we saw, somebody's put, graphics on the bottom of it saying that this guy had, been giving him lip about that court case. And Kent has obviously responded to that. Then his mates kind of drag him off, hold him back a little bit, and then he kind of wrestles away from them and goes. It looks pathetic because it's 2 old fat guys trying to fight. Well, the other guy's not as fat as him, but I mean, the 2 old fat guys try. Look,
well, they're not fat, but it's the thing that's actually almost a bit unsettling. It's 2 old guys. It's 2 guys in their 50s that are the same age as my father.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I sort of looked at it and I thought, that's kind of like somebody like me and my age and somebody, but I mean, stop it, mate. Surely you're old enough and ugly enough to actually behave a little bit different than that, or just walk away or sort it out or something.
It's interesting, though, that because there's the allegations of assault against a woman that was known to him, which I think was a partner, and there's been issues in his past, hasn't there? There's been other things that have happened in his past. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with other people. But anyway, there's 2 incidents there within the last sort of year or 2 that have come to light. I don't know. The whole where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe he's got a bit of an anger issue, a bit of a violence issue. So maybe he should be let go. I mean, you can't be doing that sort of stuff and think, even when you're a person of public interest and you're on television screens and you're sort of promoting a sport or whatnot, you can't do that and not.
Well, if it was a player, just say it was a player. Say it was a player doing it.
Well, what should happen? Contract should be torn up.
Time frame lapsed in terms of being able to make that happen meant we drew back to 1 game.
Do you honestly think Mark Robinson, the CEO of New Zealand Rugby, is capable of getting a Blues-Reds Anzac Day clash organised or being part of a committee or subcommittee?
Well, the only hope is that he actually doesn't do anything and all the work's done by... Who's the Rugby Australia CEO now? Dan Herbert, that's his name, right? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Well, you got to assume that he does all the work, and Mark Robinson goes, "Oh, sorry, Dan, there's so many meetings. I was so busy I couldn't help you out there."
As soon as this idea was suggested, I thought, yeah, probably a good idea, but then I just think it lands on somebody's desk at New Zealand Rugby, and then what happens? A committee meeting, a review, another performance manager.
Someone's got to create a new role for a women's rugby performance pathways manager in New Zealand.
Well, that's, of course, because if you don't, of course, have a women's game as well on the Anzac Day, then it's sexist. It's obviously, there you go. So. And I'm not joking, I'm not being a dick by saying this. I'm just saying that this is how New Zealand Rugby operates, doesn't it? Nothing is as simple
It's not a hard thing to sort, though. Come on, it's
when you look at the Anzac weekend fixtures, that Super Rugby, it's Friday and Saturday, they can't get anything organised, across a longer period of time than that for a start. I just think
Well,
that...
why wasn't there a game or two on Anzac Day anyway? Why wasn't there a game between the Crusaders and the Brumbies and then maybe Blues-Reds or
Well, who designs
Hurricanes
the draw?
Waratahs or something? You know, get your two biggest Australian franchises playing your two biggest New Zealand
because
franchises.
the All Blacks would be on rest, mate. They wouldn't turn up and play. See, there's that factor involved as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that to the side, what's stopping them from doing Anzac Day games? Why don't they do it anyway? It's a Trans-Tasman comp, for goodness sake.
I can tell you why they don't, mate.
Time frames.
No, but even seriously, but before this,
we drew back to one game.
Unless it was on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Anzac Day itself, I don't think this has ever happened in the past.
Give me a reason why it couldn't happen.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying.
I can tell you why. I can tell you clearly.
Talk about how
Because
we can
what
be
we've got
more
to do is we've got to get more creative in that space. Obviously, we've got the best brains. We've got the best brains of.
The point is, my point, even when Steve Chu was the NZR CEO, we didn't have Anzac Day games. Why not? I mean, Steve Chu seemed pretty damn good at his job. Well, I don't know.
When the CEO of Australian Rugby gets asked about the Melbourne Rebels and said, we've been bailing them out for how many years now, it isn't a bottomless pit, right?
Yeah. Well, so
Women's
they got
rugby
no money.
in New Zealand. We've been bailing them out for how many years now? It isn't a bottomless
Does it
pit.
cost them so much money to schedule games on Anzac Day?
I just don't know, mate. New Zealand rugby, left hand, right hand. I mean, organised, put an egg on a piece of toast, mate. It's complex, isn't it? There's nothing happens in that organisation that doesn't require meetings, reviews, long lunches, more committees, pathway managers. Mate, they're a government department is what they are.
They are a government department.
Get on the phone to the IRD because they've stuffed your tax up and go through that frustration, and then that is how
to
working
be
with...
fair, they are a government department who managed to put together how many home tests for the All Blacks each year and all these Black Ferns matches.
5?
6.
6?
6 usually.
Yeah.
7, I think maybe.
3 or 4 Black Ferns matches.
Like,
There's about 400 people employed. To do what exactly?
They've got about 5 or 6 communications
You know.
And you can never
Texas
get an interview
come
with anyone anyway.
Martin, I like Paul Kendon as part in NRL 360. However, I've seen the footage. I really don't see how he comes back from this one.
I mean, he's the instigator. If you got
he reckons the other guy instigates it. See, isn't that brilliant to see? Like, we've all looked at the footage and Caller, you reckon that the other guy instigates it.
Well, okay, at least where the footage starts, it's kind of hard to see who really starts it, but Paul Kent absolutely inflames it. He really runs at the guy. You can see him taking his watch off, putting it in his pocket, then running at the guy. Whereas the other guy's kind of just standing there. So, no, he made it. I mean, he could have just mouthed off and walked away. He didn't.
Can the Lakers do what has never been done before and come back against the Nuggets?
No.
Pretty impressive yesterday was LeBron.
I don't care. LeBron James and the Cavaliers broke a ton of NBA Finals records in 2017 when they managed to extend the series against Golden State Warriors. 3-point records, offensive records, points and quarters records. Didn't matter. Golden State beat them in 5 and won Game 5 at home. I don't care. I'm not interested. The Lakers... Ever since the Russell Westbrook trade in 2021, ever since that trade,
Here we go.
The franchise has been choking itself, okay?
Right.
That move killed our roster.
Right.
We managed to recoup something last year at the trade deadline, and then all these injuries and all this. Look, I've seen Darvin Ham as a coach. I'm out on him. Trade everyone. Seriously, I'm done. I'm done with the team.
Okay,
I'm done with the circus. I'm sick of the circus.
You've done with the team, you're done with the circus. Let's talk about Mo Salah and Jürgen Klopp, the quadruple in Kloppy's farewell tour then. Because I got up on Anzac Day to watch Man United play Sheffield United, and we were down twice in that game. And me and my son were flicking back and just loving the fact that Everton were giving it to you at Goodison Park, and that wrecked the title dream. Having said that, Man City are probably going to win the title for the 19th time in 20 years.
Spectacular. I want them to. I don't want Arsenal to win it. I actually think the worst thing that could happen is Arsenal win it.
Why is that the worst thing that could happen?
As a Liverpool fan, it's the worst thing that could happen because if Arsenal win it, then we aren't the only team that have managed to dethrone City at one point during this tenure, this Guardiola oil money tenure. So if Arsenal win it, they are going to be unbearable and talk themselves up as if they are as good as the best version of Klopp's Liverpool team, which I think could be the absolutely most horrendous
The best version of
worst
Klopp's
thing.
Liverpool team won a Champions League and then won a title. But the best version of Klopp's best ever team also didn't win as many trophies as it should have won. Probably should have won 3 titles, probably should have won at least 2 European Cups.
97 points, 99 points, and 93 points. And how many leagues did we win?
What were him and Mo Salah arguing about on the sideline?
I think because Salah was being brought on just as West Ham scored their equaliser. So my guess is that as they scored, which is Klopp then looks over at Salah and kind of maybe says something along the lines of, well, go there and get me a goal, you know? Be Mo Salah, do something. You know, get me a goal. And then
Salah's turning around and saying, well, put me on to start with then,
Salah's biting back and having a crack. But then there's another angle of the altercation, if you will, that shows Klopp going to shake his hand and Salah kind of does, but then turns away, and then apparently Klopp didn't like that, then had a crack that said they didn't give him enough respect. Because then Klopp gives...
So who's the Paul Kent out of those two?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
think it was Salah.
Well, there's a couple of things. I think for Salah, I don't think a player should be doing that publicly against their manager.
I don't think so either.
But I also actually think that Jürgen Klopp has really carried himself kind of poorly the last few weeks. Not that he's been, I don't know,
I just think
rude or
this is
disrespectful
nothing other than a whole lot of sulky players whose dreams are falling and fading in front of them.
I think it is a manager that's lost the love for the job and a manager that has lost the dressing room. Yeah. I think that's what it is. So I think everyone's to blame.
Are the Warriors still a top 4 side?
No, they never were.
They never were.
They never were. You know what I said in pre-season? Can I just say, I'm not, obviously the Warriors could, go on a run and get into the top 4. But what I said in pre-season wasn't that the Warriors can't make the top 4, but stop saying they're a favourite for it. You've got a bunch of players who hit their peaks last year, played at their full potential. Dallin Watene-Selesniak, Chance Cook-Side to an extent. He is a good player. I do like Chance. Marcelo Montoya. What's his name? Mitch Barnett had a brilliant year. Okay, Tohu Harris to an extent. Adam Fanua-Blake had by far his best year. Wade Egan, all of that. Sean Johnson, for goodness sake. All of these guys, and all of them, maybe bar 1 or 2. Sean's had a good start to the year. But all of them are about 5 to 10, maybe even 15 percentage points worse than what they were last year. When your players aren't reaching that potential, you're not going to be as good.
8, mate. We've got to go down a third of the way through.
All I'm saying is you're relying on those players hitting those heights again. And I didn't think they were capable of it because they've never done it at any other point in their careers. And sure enough, they aren't doing it right now.
Final topic then, Black Caps. We'll get on to Craig coming about this shortly. I also want to touch base, of course, with the baby Black Caps who drew a series in Pakistan. That's no mean feat. Williamson. Conway.
Is this your 15?
This is what I'd say, that Williamson, Conway, Finn Allen, Mitchell, Ravinder, Phillips, Santner, Henry, Ferguson, Bolt, Mark Chapman. I would say that all of those are absolute locks. Lockie Ferguson's probably another one, but I would say that all of those would be absolute locks.
No, can Lockie Ferguson move on?
Southey?
No, I don't want Southey. I don't want Southey. I don't want Lockie. Look, is Will O'Rourke a? Did you say O'Rourke? Is he a white ball bowler? He is, isn't he? He's a T20 bowler. Why can't he play?
Well, he's actually been on the tour of Pakistan, yeah.
So he could be named, right?
Maybe.
Why not see him in there?
Okay.
Get Seifert in there.
Yeah,
I'd actually get a good handful of the blokes who are playing over in Pakistan in this team. Why not?
They can't take Southey to this World Cup. No. He's not a T20 bowler.
I wouldn't take Ferguson. I don't want to take Bolt.
You want Bolt back in the team?
No, actually, no. I say, screw it. No, don't take Southey. Don't take Bolt. Don't take Ferguson.
Don't take Paul Kent. Look, don't take Salah. And don't take Klopp.
Southey's old and is well past his best. Thank you, Southey, but your time's passed, okay? It's like TJ Perenara. It's like Roy Keane. Your time's done. Go away. Oh, not Roy Keane. Who was the Brian Robson, right? Your time's done, Brian. Thank you.
Okay, we'll have to bring him into it, mate.